to make this astrology video for a year now because it's a very personal story relating to me and my family, and it's a story about how I was proven that astrology is real and that Western astrology is accurate and works in its own ways, and it just fully convinced me. And it's very personal and a trigger warning because there is family loss, there's child loss, and so it's that can be traumatic. So to start the story, I have to start at the very beginning. So me, my brother and sister, I'm a middle child, my sister's younger, my brother's older. We grew up playing video games and watching cartoons, and we were very close. We still are close. And one of the games we like to play was Sonic, and one of the characters, Sonic and Tails. And at one point my brother learned that Tails' name was miles per hour, because it's miles per hour, but it's miles per hour. So it's this cute thing. And he taught me that, and I was like, oh, that's so cute. So that will come later. And so later on, me and my family have gone through a lot, really hard upbringing, just all kinds of traumatic things happening, and intense. I'm Pluto in the 4th house, and me, my brother and sister are all 12th housers. That's another point of this. And so my brother, later on in life, he's a bit older than me. He now is married and he's having his first child, and he's due with a boy, and we're all very excited, also nervous because we've never really gone through this as a family. We're a small family. I don't have a lot of cousins and things like that. So this was new for us. And my sister-in-law was experiencing some complications, and so we were a bit worried. That was stressing us out throughout the pregnancy. And so one night I get a call, actually a week before the due date. We had already had the baby shower and everything, and we lost the baby in the womb, and it was horrible. And my sister-in-law had to still give birth to him, go through labor, even though we knew that he had already passed. I think the umbilical cord got wrapped, and it caused, my sister-in-law was almost lost her life going through that. So with all the policies and everything about miscarriages going on, this is also something that I want to also bring attention to, because we have miscarriages for all reasons, so many reasons. So anyways, so she had a miscarriage, a week before the due date. And so this was so traumatic for our family. And his name was going to be Miles, based on Tails from Sonic, miles per hour. And so we went to grieving, and I had already been doing astrology at this point, and I had already, actually, I don't even think I was super into the asteroids at this point, but I got into the asteroids, and I looked, and there is an asteroid Miles, literally just Miles. And I don't even remember what it's named after, but Miles represents Miles. So I looked in the chart of me and my brother and my sister for asteroid Miles, and asteroid Miles is exactly the same degree as my brother's Chiron, and asteroid Miles is in my sister's house of loss, the 12th house, isolation, and if you look in Hellenistic astrology, it can be have some very negative connotations. And asteroid Miles for me is in my house of family, the 4th house, and is exactly conjunct the same number as my asteroid Karma. And I don't think of that in a way of I think karma has to do with past lives and the energy. Also, this life, it's doing an action and there's a reaction. And so, this was hard for me to see. I at first was like, was this my fault? Did I do something in a past life that caused this to happen? Because it's conjunct my asteroid karma. Um, and, having looked into my past lives, I did also lose a infant, I believe, in one of my past lives, because I couldn't protect my family. And so I think there may be a karmic link there. So karma, the asteroid, is not necessarily like, oh, you did this, so this is what happened. It's much more complex than that. But I do think, it's in my house of family. It relates to family. And like I said, we're all 12th housers, which is, ancestral family connection to the 12th house. So there is, my sister used to say when we were younger, because we went through so many hard things, that our family is cursed. So when this happened, that was the first, thought was, oh, our family's cursed. And that was horrible to think. And that's what actually led me into looking for an answer, because I just couldn't be so like negative. I just couldn't only look at it in a negative way. So I'm an 11th houser, and the 11th house is the house of good spirits. And I think I have Jupiter there, and my Mercury there. So, and when you switch to another, I'm an 11th houser. So I think I just have this like optimism that I have from like brought from other lives. And I think that is part of one of my gifts of finding information as well, because it's in Gemini. And I found the information that confirmed to me that there is a cosmic pattern, because the fact that my brother connected with his name when he was like in his teens is when he told me Tails' name. For him to then choose this name as an adult for his first son, and then for this to happen, and there's indicators huge. I didn't even have to look beyond just those three things. I know if I did, I would see much more. But it's also so traumatic that it's hard to revisit looking in the charts. And so just that alone proved to me that, and this I was using, I used Placidus and whole sign. And so that's what also proves to me that Western astrology also does work. Maybe there are some things that have been shifted or things like that, but it absolutely does work. And astrology is real. It does show cosmic patterns and frequencies within us, is what I believe. And that's why I love reading the asteroids, because it's showing the frequencies inside us, because we also, those frequencies reverberate outside of us, and they interact with each other, which I believe is us creating this reality both individually and collectively. And that's why these asteroids, the names, the words, are frequency links to each other, so that when you read them, they're all interacting and telling a story. Everyone is connected energetically, and the chart and the planets and the asteroids show how that works. And so and it shows how it works through time as well, because like I said, the story started all the way to the beginning of me and my siblings being children. So I just wanted to share that story with you guys, because it's just one personal example. I have so many others of how I know astrology works. So if that's something you want to hear more about, I can absolutely share that with you guys. And yeah, let me know what you think. And if you have other stories where you have been proven personally that astrology works, I'd love to hear that. And if you're interested in more stories about evolutionary astrology and learning more about the asteroids, you can give me a follow. And I also offer readings. Thanks.